Welcome to Math on the Fritz with Mr. Fitz. In today's example, we're going to be looking at two radicals this time that I'm trying to combine together in some way. Now, it can be addition or subtraction, it doesn't matter. We do it the same way. If we want to combine these two things and get an exact answer, say we don't have a calculator, we don't want to approximate this with a decimal, we want to know what the actual answer is, we've got to try to get the radical pieces to be identical. We can't add these together right now. We consider them not like terms. So remember when you were doing all those fraction things and we were saying, well, you got to have a common denominator if you're going to actually combine these fractions? With radicals, you need to have the same number under the radical. So lucky for us, even though they're different numbers, I can pull some pairs out of this in order to simplify it. So seeing that these numbers are different, let's take each problem and say, what can I pull out of this 45? So step one, let's get my 45 broken down. I see that it ends in 5, so I can divide by 5. 5 times 9 gives me 45. And then that's made up of 3 and 3. So I can see right now I have a pair of 3's, and those 3's can be pulled out. So when I look back at this original number, I'm pulling that pair of 3 out. That joins the -2 out front. What's left over is just my 5. So I'm able to get a new, this is just multiplication, a new simplified radical of -6 root 5. This and this are identical. And I know they're identical because I've done the same thing that I did in the previous problems. I just pulled out the pair and rewrote it in a better way. Now, root 5 doesn't match root 20, so I'm still not in the clear yet. I need to see if 20 has something to be taken out. Now, my guess is probably I can pull something out of there. I could divide by 2. 2 times 10, that's a good way to make 20. And then 10 can break down into 2 times 5. There's my pair coming out. That pair is joining the number that was already out there. And then whatever's left over, I have a 5. That 5 is stuck under the radical. 2 times -6 is -12 root 5. So I went through the hard part. It wasn't hard. I just had to make sure that I was taking care of my pairs here, pulling out my pairs so I could see what the real radical was. The real radical was root 5. When I remove my pair of 2, I'm left with a 5. When I remove my pair of 3, I was left with a 5. Now that I'm seeing clearly, I have -6 root 5 minus 12 root 5. Since they're both root 5, I combine them. I still have root 5 in my answer. What I'm really combining are the numbers out front. What I'm really doing is, what is -6 minus 12 more? So when I put those together, it's just a simple addition. -6 plus -12, I get -18. Notice I'm leaving radical 5 because the only time I can add these together is when they're common. Just like in fractions, I can only add fractions when they have a common denominator and that denominator stays the same. I can only add them together if I have common radicals and that radical stays the same. So here I've done a problem where both of them had to be broken down. Both of them already had a number out front. That's why I had to multiply. And then once I had my 2 simplified fractions, I combined the numbers in front to get my final answer. So that's everything you need to know for simplifying radicals and adding or subtracting them after. Good luck on your assignments.